or be on a flyer, I will spend the last penny to be here. I stand here as the General Secretary of the over 12.5 million Ghanaian students of this country. To my knowledge, almost all student leaders in this country were invited to this convention. Why? They know this is a convention that will ignite the voices of Africa. They know this is a convention that we would have to listen to the other encroachments of other countries. I got here and I'm told that powers from above have stopped the program. I'm sad.
The New Africa Foundation released a press release to let people know what's going on. The press release says the convention, a Pan-African event, which was to take place today at the Black Star Square in Accra, Ghana, has been cancelled by the government. We regret to inform you that the government has cancelled the above Pan-African event, which was to take place today at the Independence Square in Accra, Ghana. All the special guests have arrived and thousands of people have come from all over Ghana as well as around the globe for this historic event. We have just been informed of the cancellation of this event a couple of hours before its commencement. This event was approved by the government in November of 2023. This came as a shock to us and as a devastation to our dignitaries and special guests who flew in from around the world. We at the New Africa Foundation apologize for the inconvenience this may have caused to our audience and the public alike. Please be aware that this situation is and was beyond our control. And that is the official statement in regards to the cancellation of the event.
Peace and Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers all around the world. Let me welcome you on King Said So, your African Pan-Africanist podcast, where we are advocating for African unity. Guys, I really appreciate your support from all around Africa. You guys have been showing me some real love from Malawi. You guys have been showing me some real love from Ghana. You guys have been showing some real love from Nigeria. You guys have definitely shown me some real love from Mozambique. You guys have shown me good love from South Africa, Zimbabwe. You guys have been showing me real love from all around Africa. I appreciate it. It is with a voice of a concern that I have to speak to my Ghanaian government for what they did, cancelling the African conversation that was organized by the New Africa Foundation. The New Africa Foundation got a green light to host this event after inviting notable African speakers. You see, as a Pan-Africanist movement, we also face a threat to our movement. The threat is our own being controlled by the Western world. How is it that the government of Ghana sends the army and the police to go and block the youth from entering a free event that is there to spark the conversation, to ignite the conversation for African future leaders to say, wake up, kind of passing off the baton. We had big speakers there. Zambia sent the favorite African queen, Dr. Arikana. She was sent there. Arikana is a speaker of note. If you have heard this woman speak, I will post the press conference tomorrow, the whole press conference, so that you guys can hear what they said. They had P. Lumumba, a professor. We all know how professor is. We love him, Prof. We love you so much. In South Africa, we love and value you. We love and value you. Julius Malema was also invited. I think he could not make it there because he's not on the press conference. And Peter Obi from Nigeria. These are keynote speakers that if you want to educate someone about the spirit of Pan-Africanism, these are the people I would invite personally. The only person that will be missing there is Ifatunde, Dr. Uma Ifatunde. That's the only other person I would add there. And of course, I will add Kig 053, Mr. Easy Imale Neng Neng, to go and speak to the youth. The youth was so excited about this event. But my question is, why does a government go lengths? I mean, this is like recalling the army. And they did this, they canceled this event hours before it happened. Hours before it happened, they called the organizers, like, listen, this thing is not happening. It's not happening. Send the army to the venue, block the entrance. Nobody must come in. Please, I'm going to post the full press conference with this video. They're probably going to be simultaneous, so you guys can watch and listen. When I watched it, I was like, oh my God, I'm really pushing too low. And I was listening to the arrogance of the Ghana government official speaking like, what has Lumumba done in his life? What is Peter Obi? What have he done? Julius Malema, what have they done in their life? Dr. Arikana, what have they done in their lives? They have sparked the conversation and they have made changes so many times. Because remember, the biggest change we can plant, we can plant in an African child is the seed of independence in the mind. Our African people are not liberated in the mind. We call it miseducation. The most educated are actually the miseducated because their education drives them away from the African agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, there's going to come a time, if we don't elect the correct leaders, where a channel like mine are going to be blocked everywhere. When someone books me for speaking, it's going to be blocked. When there's a Pan-Africanist gathering somewhere, it's going to be blocked. As long as we don't elect the proper right leaders in the leadership structure. And the United States, the Western world, the UK, Asia, and everyone, China, will always dominate Africa as long as we still have Togo, we still have Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Botswana, South Africa. As long as we still have these borders, I'm telling you, as a Pan-Africanist, we will never unite as Africans. We have to open the border and have central home affairs that can identify everyone in Africa. An ID number must be able to identify you throughout the whole of Africa. As long as these borders are there, remember these borders were placed there by our colonizers. I like Dr. Arikana when she says, our colonizers, when they gave us the so-called independent, they never left Africa. Oh, it hit me home. If you're an African and you can think, you can imagine how painful that statement is. That those who enslaved us never left this country. And by country, I mean continent. Because to me, Africa is one big country with 54 regions and 54 tribe leaders. The tribes is your country. The region is your country. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? So for me, if they can do it to Dr. Lumumba, they can do it to Julius Malema. Luckily, Julius Malema was not there because he was going to be doing some crazy things there. You know, because he's still Julius Malema is still in his youth. By youth, I'm saying he's not 48 years old. He's not anywhere close to 50 years old. Dr. Arikana, if they can do it to them, who are we? You see how they're trying to silence us. And remember, it is in my youth, like now, if someone comes in my house, they will be fighting the best version of me. I'm in my 30s. Big revolutionists in Africa change the direction, the trajectory of their country's politics in their 30s. I'm telling you, Jacob Zuma, when he was in Mkhonto Wesizwe, Nelson Mandela, what is his name from Burkina Faso, and we can even say Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré is 34, 35 years old. You are 34, 35 years old, but you are doing nothing in terms of having a political input to the political agenda. The political agenda must be there. I'm so disappointed. I'm really, really disappointed. You guys have asked me to talk about this. I'm a few days behind now. The event was supposed to happen, I believe, on the 7th. I believe on the 7th. Yes, I'm right. On the 7th, and it was cancelled hours before. Hours before it was cancelled. That is the Africa that we are living in. The Ghanaian government being threatened by youth leaders campaigning for youth to come and listen to these words of wisdom, words of wisdom from all of these elders. If this can happen to them, they are trying to silence us as Pan-Africanists. And there's going to come a time where you guys will have to speak on my behalf when I'm cancelled for being unapologetically pro-African, pro-black. Because some of you don't understand when I say pro-African, you including other people that are not Africans. Pro-black. There's gonna be time where we might and will be cancelled. As long as we don't elect the right leaders, we will be cancelled for being pro-black. We'll be labeled as racist, as anti-progressive movements, because we'll be advocating for African people to get their own. That is why we'll be cancelled. The channel is growing. If you haven't subscribe. If you haven't subscribed right now, because the channel is growing, the movement is catching fire. Don't be left behind. We are going to build that Pan-African school here in South Africa. We are going to branch out to other African countries 1 year from building that school. Because one African country with one Pan-African school cannot change the entire continent. It can never happen. But we're going to build simultaneously schools back to back for 10 years, knowing that when we die, we would have left something tangible for the coming generation. We would have taught them and programmed them from a very young age. Program them correctly, not with the European style of education, but with the African style and African foresight of education. That is what we're going to do. So for me, I can't believe they stopped this movement. The people of Ghana were hungry for this. They were hungry for this. But gulungile, it's all right. It's all right. I'm going to post the pros conference, the whole thing, so that you guys can watch it. I hope you enjoy it, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched it when it dropped. So, like I said, my apologies. I'm a little bit behind with this update, but there's so much happening in South Africa. My goodness. I'm not sleeping because of these South African politicians, and we have to keep tabs on what is happening so that we can direct our Pan-Africanist people to say, listen, this is the direction that we are taking. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And until we meet again, don't forget to pray. And after you pray, make sure that you stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.